What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update. In this video, we're going to hear directly from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer with an update on Part 1, the physical infrastructure package, which they have already voted yes on the first part of that, and what will happen next with the next vote on that, as well as Part 2, the next stimulus package, which has already been announced at $3.5 trillion. That will be coming next, and there will be negotiations on that. $3.5 trillion is almost double the size of the third stimulus check package. So there will be enough money in there for a fourth stimulus check, child tax credit extensions. Remember those $250 to $300 monthly child tax credit checks that are going out to 65 million children right now on the 15th of every month for a total of $3,000 to $3,600. Those are only passed for 1 year. Will they extend that in this next package? Will there be adult tax credit checks going out in this next package? Will we see Social Security raises, Medicare 2.0, the promised 2 years of free community college? What will be in this next package? Remember, $3.5 trillion is a lot of money, almost twice the size of the third stimulus check package. We're going to hear directly from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer in this video, as well as some absolutely crazy news from the government and President Biden of vaccines becoming mandatory, at least in some capacity. That's right. You're I'm not kidding. This is happening in the last 48 to 60 hours. This is happening across our country, and I'm going to show it to you here. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. I'm going to keep you up to date on what's going on in our country, what's going on with this pandemic, what's going on with the next stimulus package, and there's going to be more stimulus packages after this, as on October 1st, the Democrats get more reconciliation cards, which means they can pass more stimulus packages. Basically, the Democrats are going to be able to pass more packages up until November of 2022. So they have a little bit over a year until the next midterm election. So until the Senate and the House of Representatives go up for election again in 2022, the Democrats are going to continue to pass packages through the reconciliation process. This is not the last package. I know some people may have thought this was the last package, but with the pandemic actually worsening, we're getting close to 100,000 COVID cases again. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. As you can see here, like about a month ago, we were down to like 10,000. I think at one point we were down to like 5,000 cases per day. I'm trying to see what day it was here, but we were down to like 10,000 cases per day. And now we're down to, yesterday, 92,000 cases per day. Because of this new Delta variant, it's just so much stronger than the other variants we had in the original virus variant. It's just literally, it's taken over the other variants, and it's literally way more contagious. And it's something like over 80% of the new COVID cases are the Delta variant now. It's way more contagious and more deadly. And that's why, with even around 50% of the US being vaccinated, that's why we're seeing this steep increase. I think you can see this. I don't think I'm in the way here. Of this sharp increase of cases here from just a month ago, where we were only at like 10 or 11,000 cases per day. Oh yeah, you can see here that that's the 7-day average. But yeah, the new cases, we were down to like 6,000, 4,000 cases per day on June 27th. Now, as of yesterday, we're up to 92,000 cases per day because of this Delta variant. That's why the cases are getting so bad. And that's kind of what leads us to this. This is getting crazy. Check this out. This is just the first one. President Biden tells federal workers, get vaccinated or submit to testing. This is the first one. Here's the second one. I got a couple more here. The Pentagon says it will start talks on making COVID-19 vaccines mandatory. Yeah. This concludes after California and New York City will require government workers to get the COVID vaccine or get tested weekly. We are seeing this happen literally across the country now because of this new spike, this new Delta variant. Let's start with number one here. Number one, President Biden on Thursday, yesterday, is directing all federal employees and on site contractors to show or to prove that they are vaccinated or otherwise submit to regular coronavirus testing, a major step that will likely cause other private sector businesses to follow suit. Biden is also instructing his administration to apply similar standards to all other federal government contractors. The White House is also encouraging private sector employers to follow his lead. He says, quote, if you want to do business with the federal government, get your workers vaccinated, President Biden said in remarks from the White House Thursday afternoon. Biden says with incentives and mandates, we can make a huge difference and save a lot of lives. The incentives are, I covered this in my video from yesterday. You could go check that out in the video before this. He's calling on states to offer a $100 vaccine incentives from the state's COVID stimulus money from the last package to potentially offer a $100 stimulus check or we're not sure how it's going to come out yet. And also paid time off from your employer. So, yeah, actually could be like a double incentive. We'll have to see how this comes out. And if you already have the vaccine, maybe, if we could see some retroactive $100 check or debit card or how this is going to play out. Again, this was just announced yesterday. I will keep you up to date on how this $100 vaccine incentive is going to work out. So, according to the White House, the federal government will ask employees and on site contractors to attest to their vaccination status to prove it. Those who do not show that they are fully vaccinated against COVID 19 will need to mask, socially distance, and submit to weekly or twice weekly coronavirus testing. Biden also said that workers who are not vaccinated generally will not be allowed to travel for work. Next up, the Pentagon says it will start talks on making COVID-19 vaccine mandatory. The Pentagon said Thursday it will begin its internal talks on making the vaccine mandatory for military personnel after President Biden called on defense leaders to examine how and when to mandate the vaccine for U.S. troops. The how and when language is similar to the language used in a White House fact sheet released earlier Thursday that Biden would be asking the Defense Department when COVID vaccines would be required for the military. Quote, since many vaccinations are required for active duty military today, I'm asking the Defense Department to look into how and when they will add COVID to the list of vaccinations our armed forces must get, Biden said during a speech at the White House. This comes as California and New York City announced just a few days ago that government workers will be required to either get the vaccine or get tested weekly in a very similar fashion. So, yes. And also, surprisingly enough, Mitch McConnell, let me zoom this out here a little bit, said it never occurred to me that convincing Americans to get vaccinated would be this difficult. Yeah. Also, in similar news, Washington, D.C. has brought back its indoor mask mandate starting Saturday. The U.S. Capitol Police has been asked to arrest any maskless people trying to enter the Capitol. Yes, they're going to arrest anybody that is trying to enter the U.S. Capitol that is maskless. The Republicans in the House are staging a mask mandate protest. The Republicans are against this. The Republican governor in Arkansas is asking their state legislator to allow masks in school. He is a Republican governor, while the Texas governor is threatening to fine local officials who enforce new mask mandates, saying that anybody who enforces a new mask mandate could be fined for doing so. Basically, the Texas governor is against anybody enforcing a new mask mandate, showing that there is battles going on right now that basically some people are against mask mandates, some people are for mask mandates, and we are seeing a lot of branches of the government kind of going forward with some limited capacity vaccine mask mandates and mask mandates in certain parts of the country, like LA County. LA County is the largest county in the United States population wise. So, like I said, there's a lot going on in our country. Things are changing by the hour. COVID cases are out of control. We literally went from 5,000 COVID cases a day, like a month ago, roundabout, to now almost 100,000 cases. People are saying, why? There's almost about 50% of us vaccinated. It's because of this new Delta variant. I mean, a few months ago, we didn't even have the Delta variant. Now it's like over 80% of the cases, and it's just way more contagious and deadly. And I mean, like I said, a few months ago, I don't know how many months ago, but we didn't even have it. We didn't even have it. Now it's over 80% of the cases. And remember that the vaccines weren't even made for this variant. They were made from the original variant. So whether or not we're going to see a booster shot or a vaccine made for this specific variant, we'll have to see in the future. But this variant is way more contagious and deadly. And I mean, the government is taking some very drastic response to it. I mean, we're seeing literally all across the country, the Pentagon, the president, the House of Representatives, New York, California, um, all sorts of different across the country, just taking like rapid action against this. And mask mandates in Las Vegas, even California. Let me know your thoughts on this. I mean, honestly, we could be looking at shutdown 2.0. I mean, it's not out of the question. I mean, we're definitely going to see mask mandates. We're already seeing some come before shutdown. I think people are going to be very resistant to shutdown. Again, I'm just kind of, I'm not advocating for any of this. I mean, people think I'm like, I'm not, okay? I'm not like picking sides or anything. I'm just letting you know what's happening. That's why I like to show you guys things in black and white. Um, if you want to see President Biden talking about the $100 incentives and the paid time off, I have that in the video from last night. You can see him speaking about it. Um, but yeah, that's why I'd like to show you guys these articles in black and white so you can see this, so that like that this stuff is really going on. And yeah, I mean, it's getting bad. It's getting bad quickly. I mean, when we're getting to 100,000 new cases per day, and they're talking about like making vaccines mandatory in limited capacities, like government workers and certain businesses and stuff. It's crazy. And remember that the vaccine is not even at a full FDA approval. The FDA has approved it for emergency use FDA approval. At whatever point the FDA approves it for full FDA approval, I think then we're really going to probably see a lot more mandates. Remember that businesses can, we actually just had a new ruling. In fact, here is just a quick headline that says businesses and schools can mandate the use of COVID-19 vaccines under EUAs and the Department of Justice says. So they literally had a new ruling. This is dated July 27th, 2021. So just as of like 2 or 3 days ago, the Department of Justice literally had this new ruling that businesses and schools can mandate vaccines. So we have over 500 colleges that have mandated vaccines. I don't know if we've had any like kindergarten through grade 12. Remember, the vaccine's not eligible for kids under grade 12 yet. But I mean, honestly, I wouldn't doubt that that won't be coming in the future. But remember, it's not even fully FDA approved yet. But I do think that just from looking at things as a realist, I can see this happening in the future. Let me know your thoughts on this. I like to keep you guys updated on the pandemic, stimulus, our country, because again, this is the whole reason even stimulus happened. And if this pandemic gets worse, which it is at the moment, that is the whole reason stimulus even exists. So if the pandemic gets worse, then more stimulus is likely to happen. So that kind of leads us to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer talking about passing package number one, the physical infrastructure package, and passing stimulus package number two, the $3.5 trillion stimulus package. Here is Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer on the Senate floor.
Madam President, well, as we all know, last night the Senate voted by a substantial margin to move forward with a debate on a bipartisan infrastructure bill. I want to commend the group of senators who worked with President Biden to reach a deal. The agreement will ultimately dedicate over $1 trillion to strengthening virtually every major category of our country's physical infrastructure. The vote last night also means that the Senate is on track to reach the two-track goal I laid out for this chamber at the beginning of the month. The first track is the bipartisan bill focused on traditional brick-and-mortar infrastructure projects. The second track is a budget reconciliation bill where Democrats will make historic investments in American jobs, American families, and efforts to fight climate change. In order to start work on a reconciliation bill, the Senate must pass a budget resolution first, and we are on track for that as well. It's been my goal to pass both the bipartisan infrastructure bill and a budget resolution during this work period. Some pundits have called that a tall order. I understand that. But because of the vote last night, the Senate is now moving forward with the bipartisan infrastructure bill, and we are on track to pass both elements of the two-track strategy before we adjourn for August recess. It took some prodding and a few deadlines, but it all has worked out for the better. I want to take a step back and explain why these two bills are so important at this moment. For the past 2 years at the end of the Trump presidency, the country was angry, divided, plagued by COVID, and our economy was stuck in the muck. The COVID pandemic washed over our country like a plague. America was sick, dying. Our economy was in shambles. The discovery of the vaccine played no small part in our country's recovery, and we Democrats pushed early on, last February and March. We promised we would get the vaccines out. We would get the country's economy moving again. We would give hope to the middle class and those struggling to get to the middle class, where hope had been a distant and hazy frame on their horizon previously. The Biden administration came in. We came in as a Senate majority, and we immediately set to work. 6 months into the Biden administration and Democratic majorities in the House and Senate, the country has stabilized. And this morning, it was reported that in the second quarter, the U.S. economy grew at a rate of 6.5%, erasing all of the losses from the COVID pandemic. It happened a lot quicker and a lot sooner than many anticipated. But now is not the time to rest on our laurels. Now is the time to press forward, to cement these gains and build on them. We must continue encouraging vaccinations. We must keep a very close eye on the Delta variant and take necessary precautions. But we also must address the underlying structural economic conditions that held back the middle class and those trying to get there, even before the pandemic. The American dream, that if you work hard, you'll be doing better 10 years from now than you're doing today, and your kids will be doing still better than you, was fading for the last 20 years. If you look at the economic statistics, They show that that dimmer view that the American people had was accurate in terms of economic circumstances. But now we need to get it bright and sunny again. We need to return to the bright, sunny American optimism that has been so much part of our character for more than 2 centuries. And how do we do it? We don't just sit on our hands. We don't just say, let business take care of it. They won't. They have a different mission. A massive investment in public infrastructure will create tens of thousands of good-paying jobs. That's just what the doctor ordered. And we need to go beyond that to restore that bright, sunny optimism. We need to help American families keep up with the exorbitant costs of childcare, health care, housing, college, and more. We need to press on and fight to reverse climate change, because as bad as COVID was, if we do nothing about climate change, a few years from now, each year will be worse than COVID, and each year after that will get worse and worse and worse. And if we do nothing, the people several years from now, even people now, will say, why didn't we do more? We Democrats want to do more on climate. We must. The numbers show, Madam President, the numbers show that the American economy has gotten back to where it was prior to COVID. Now is the time to go further and build back even better than before.
So yeah, let me know your thoughts. There could be voting today. Yeah, and Democratic Senator Kirsten Sinema says she's on board for the first part of the voting for part 2, the stimulus package, when they get to that vote. So I will keep you up to date with everything. They're going to keep moving forward. Remember that new videos come out here on my channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss any episodes at this point. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet. It's completely free to do so. After subscribing, click the bell icon that appears to all notifications to get reminder notifications when we go live with new videos. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. This bottom video is how you can get $50 off your internet or cell phone bill from the third stimulus check package. And this video is how President Biden and the Democrats want to raise Social Security benefits. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.